But what about the part about your client being a broker? I read in the deposition, her sworn deposition, she said, I was never a broker. But I found her broker's license. Mr. McAfee told me it existed, and then this broker's license. Sure enough. Okay. All right, guys. You take care. Judge Laurel Gibson should be calling for an immediate investigation into the conduct of her peer, Judge Michael Scott, for reasons that I am about to explain. You see that nervous little smile from attorney Christina Beccia? She's with the law firm of Bradley Wolf, and they are representing Grisha Luke. Grisha Luke is a white woman who lied under oath about never being a real estate broker. And she has been involved in many lawsuits as a defendant, including a couple of foreclosures. Now, Luke was in a rent-to-own deal at her Wedgwood condominium unit 242 with Sir Frederick McAfee, a black former Boeing aerospace mechanic who had already purchased Unit 303 himself in cash some years earlier. Okay? Unbeknownst to Sir Frederick, the management company had an ulterior motive later to get rid of him, and they began spreading false rumors that he was involved in prostitution at his unit. This is stereotypical racial profiling, folks, and it's as ugly as you can get. You can infer the ulterior motives by this email that contractor Joe Hellstern got from the management and shared with Sir Frederick and me. And Mr. Hellstern will testify to more about how dirty and underhanded these people are under oath. He provided a declaration for Sir Frederick to use in court. We'll get to that later. So, anyway, basically, Luke backed out of the deal at Unit 242. So Frederick took the lessor over to his unit. Along with it came the trust money that Luke was no longer entitled to. But somehow Luke files a fraud charge against him, and his lawyer fails to file a counterclaim after promising he would do so. He fell flat on his face, lied down, and died, like so many of these lawyers do these days. So then Sir Frederick tries the case himself against these two lawyers, Wolf and Beccia, and when he loses on one count, they sock him for attorney fees and even take his own property, Unit 303, from him that he had purchased in cash some years earlier. Now, when he requests immediate Rule 59 review to set aside the bench verdict, Attorney Wolf draws up a proposed order that the court rubber stamps, falsely claiming that Sir Frederick did not timely file his motion until after 4:30 on the prescribed date, and time. But you can see right there that he did timely file his motion at 3:52 p.m. So that's all just crazy making, and that is an ethics violation to boot. Now, you know the Bar Association probably won't do anything, but I'm going to report this guy. And so is Sir Frederick. And to top it off, Judge Gibson and her daughter were great friends with Sir Frederick until all this happened. She even lived with Sir Frederick for a time when her home needed repairs. But all of that changed once these people assassinated his character and ruined him financially. This is a man who'd already suffered through years of racial discrimination and underpaid disability checks from Boeing, mind you. Now, he has filed a defamation and tortious interference lawsuit against these people at this condominium association. And the NAACP, the Urban League, the ACLU, and the Anti-Defamation League have a job to do now. I can't do it myself as an investigative journalist. You guys have lawyers. You need to help Sir Frederick. And you take care. You think it's funny now? Josh here knows. It's not funny. Hi, Josh. How you doing?
I haven't seen you since the Shikolnik's case a few years ago.
It's been a bit. It's been a bit, counsel. I'm well.
Branched out beyond the mortgage-related stuff.
Oh, way beyond that. You take care of me all day. But the question I have for you again is, in the emails from a neutral third party, he said that your client claims that Mr. McAfee was allowing prostitution in his unit. It's in an email. Did you see it? From a third party. I'm going to interview him. Because that's,
I don't know who that would be, but it's not our client.
It's a contractor. No. The contractor's saying that your client said that about Mr. McAfee. That's the point. And, that's defamation per se, because prostitution, that's a crime of moral turpitude, right? So
It's not, I don't think you're referring to anything my client said.
Well, no,
He
in the
talked about
emails.
some third parties, so.
No. The third party is saying that they have it direct from your client. So I'm going to interview that third party is what I'm saying. Okay, it's a contractor.
Go ahead.
He's a contractor that worked for your people.
Clerk's office is-
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah, but what about the part about your client being a broker? I read in the deposition, her sworn deposition, she said, I was never a broker. But I found her broker's license. Mr. McAfee told me it existed, and then this broker's license. Sure enough. Okay. All right, guys. Let me understand this, sir, Frederick. The judge made a ruling that the previous judge, Scott, found that you had commingled funds. Did Judge Scott ever make that finding?
Never. That was something that was suggested by Wolf in a documentation that he just submitted to say that now he thinks the disability was late and I should have, but they knew that in the beginning. I came to the court every day when there was a trial with a walker and they knew I was on disability, and in the court she said, don't you get Social Security? I said yes. So they already knew about my thing. But
I think it's also interesting that she was a broker. They ran from my questioning about the fact that she lied about being a broker, and as to the alleged racism, the bit where they accuse you of being a pimp, basically, I asked them about that, and they said, well, my client didn't say that. I said, no, sir, a contractor said it in an email that your client said it, and I said, I'm going to find that contractor.
Right, and that contractor was in with the client and her associates trying to figure out a way to come after me, which is documented.